So since we've only talked about Generation 1 Pokemon so far, let's move on to Gen 2. I don't mind that Feraligatr is a pure water type, but I think that they could have made it a water and dark type, and I don't think anybody would have bat an eye. I just think he has a menacing aura about him. I could totally see it as a dark type, and it would have been the perfect opportunity since the dark type was introduced in that generation along with the steel type. I do like that they did go back and add the steel type to Magnemite and Magneton since they were pure electric types, and their bodies are made of steel parts, so that completely makes sense. Good on them. But Blastoise also has steel cannons in its shell, so imagine if they went back and changed it too. Then all 3 Generation 1 final starter forms would be dual type, and that's kinda cool. Guess we will just have to settle for Empoleon being the only water and steel type for now. Now Sudowoodo looks like a tree, but it's a rock type, not a grass type. This one I'm fine with obviously because that's the entire point of this Pokemon, was to be an obstacle that blocks your path in the Generation 2 games, similar to how Snorlax blocked your path in Generation 1. It's based on the concept of petrified wood, so the rock type makes complete sense. Still, wouldn't it be funny if there was a regional variant out there in another region that was actually a grass type? Yanma is a Pokemon based on a dragonfly, so yes, they could have made it a bug and dragon type, but it's fine that they didn't. After all, it doesn't seem very dragon-like. Its evolution, Yanmega, however, does, at least to me. They gave it fangs and a more prehistoric look. This would have been a perfect opportunity to change its secondary typing to dragon, but for whatever reason they didn't. We still don't have a bug and dragon type, which I hope changes soon. And next up is Lugia. Let me get a raise of hands on how many people thought Lugia was a water type. Turns out a lot, actually. It has been depicted swimming in the ocean many times, and it is known as the Guardian of the Sea. It's even been depicted as a water type in the trading card game. So, of course, we are going to think it might be a water type. The story goes that the creators wanted to give it the psychic type instead so that it would be seen as powerful, as the 2 strongest Pokemon at the time were Mew and Mewtwo, psychic types. And psychic types were indeed powerful. In fact, they were broken in Gen 1, so it made Lugia seem even more intimidating. They wanted it to be flying type no matter what, since it was designed with that type in mind first, and then the psychic type was added later. Yeah, for some reason Game Freak never wanted to assign the flying type as the primary type, and only started doing so in Generation 5. And eventually we would even get a pure flying type regional bird, instead of the usual normal and flying type combination. If Lugia was released today, I could see it also being a pure flying type, similar to the legendary Tornadus. Well, anyway, let's talk about some Gen 3.